Your state is opening up, but your city is not yet. Why not?
Well, we're opening up to the extent that the governor has put it in his order, so we're compliant with the state. But the messaging that we're trying to send to our community is to take this cautiously and slowly, because no one knows what the impact of this is going to be, and it's going to take us 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, to get the data on hospitalizations that we need to see whether or not our toe dip here is putting us on a path to another surge. So it's more of a messaging element than anything else. We have a lot of community members that know that while these things are opening, it doesn't mean we have to go. And it doesn't mean that we have to open. The governor has allowed those things to happen, but we are urging our community to take this cautiously and slowly so that we can measure the impact before we end up with another surge.
Well, what are you seeing on the ground that gives you cause for concern, if you have cause for concern?
I do have cause for a concern, because I think what's resulting is kind of a mixed message. We have part of the community that thinks that this is over as we begin to open things back up, that somehow or another we have beaten the virus, and we have not. So we're trying really hard to. We're seeing more people this past weekend that just started going to some of the retail establishments, going and sitting down in restaurants to that 25% occupancy that the governor has ordered. I see people closer together, so I'm concerned. But as I look out and go through the community, most people in the community are not doing that. Most people in the community are still maintaining the social distancing, still avoiding the groups. But an example would be our governor has indicated that people should continue to wear face coverings when they're in public. Lieutenant Governor said that that should happen, but they took away the right of cities to be able to make it mandatory. Actually, they took away the right for us to be able to have a criminal or civil penalty. So in my order, I'm keeping it mandatory. But the penalty is just that more people are going to get sick, and some of them will die. And I hope that that penalty is enough to have most everybody in our community continuing to wear face coverings. But it's hard because they're getting mixed messages.
Mr. Mayor, I think about Austin a lot. I've got a lot of friends there. My dad went to UT. You were on such a economic tear prior to all of this. You were attracting tons of new business. Big tech was moving in. Home prices were on the move. I just wonder how much of that is going to be able to cushion what's happening now, and what is the effect of the trouble that higher education is surely going to have?
You know, I don't think anybody knows the answer to that. We don't know how soon we're going to be able to really be able to reopen the economy. We don't know to what extent. So there are a lot of open questions. But I do think that Austin is positioned well, relatively speaking. A large part of our community is able to work from home. We're seeing that real estate transactions are not suffering as much as is happening in other places. We have a very resilient and creative and entrepreneurial and innovative people that live in this community. But it's hurting. I mean, we have a lot of people that are filing now for unemployment insurance. So I don't want to minimize at all the harm or the disruption that's happening. But we have already started taking a look at what we need to do to come back and to be resilient on the backside of this. Whenever the backside of this happens, we're trying to position ourselves now.
So many of our surveys, Mr. Mayor, have shown a partisan divide when it comes to how people view safety measures like wearing a mask or going out to hair salons and restaurants. You're a Democratic mayor. You've got a Republican governor. You know, do you see this as a big factor in terms of the decision makings and people in Texas? And is that making your job harder?
You know, you can't avoid noticing the partisan divide that's happening, certainly on the national level, and as you look from state to state. I wish my governor was not moving forward as quickly as he is. I wish there was more opportunity in our city to put in place testing and contact tracing to the level that we want. But he is under the same pressure, I think, that Republican governors are under around the country. Frankly, governors in Democratic states too, they're just reacting a little bit differently. I think that we see the greatest partisan split on issues like face coverings. The governor is very strong in encouraging everybody to do that, as is the lieutenant governor. But yet they won't let cities make it mandatory. And I'm envious of the communities around the country where they're able to impose that kind of sense of urgency for their community. Not that we would be arresting or fining people, because quite frankly, there aren't enough police officers or sheriff deputies to actually do that. But the message is important. And the fact that I get asked all the time now, so are we not supposed to wear face coverings anymore? And people shouldn't be asking that question. They should be just wearing the face covering as well as maintaining that 6-foot difference. I think that the messaging is getting confused around the country as to where we are and what's important.